Welcome to our exploration of the veils that conceal the true nature of our existence. Today, we dive into a profound concept that can revolutionize the way we interact with the world around us. The veil of ignorance is a powerful metaphor that describes the limitations on our perception of reality. This veil clouds our vision, preventing us from seeing the truth of our existence and the universe we inhabit. In our first lesson, let's consider the nature of this veil. Imagine living your entire life within a room with frosted windows. The light comes in, but the world outside is blurred and unrecognizable. You may catch glimpses of shapes and colors, but their true form is hidden from you. This is the effect of the veil of ignorance on our understanding of the world. It filters our experience, leaving us with a reality that is a mere shadow of what truly is. This veil is woven from many threads: our cultural upbringing, our personal biases, the limitations of our senses, and the fundamental misunderstandings of the nature of reality. It's crucial to recognize that what we perceive every day is not the world as it is, but as it appears through the distortions of this veil. The colors we see, the sounds we hear, even the sensations we feel, are all interpretations made by our brain, translated from the raw data that our senses provide. How then can we trust that our perception is accurate? As we navigate through life, we build our understanding of the world based on these perceptions. We create systems of belief, adopt values, and construct a framework of knowledge that we believe to be true. But if our initial perceptions are flawed, then the structures we build upon them are inherently unstable. They are houses built on sand, vulnerable to the tides of new experiences and information. So, how do we begin to lift this veil, even if just slightly, to glimpse the true nature of reality? The first step is to acknowledge its existence. We must accept that we don't see things as they are. We see things as we are. Our perceptions are colored by who we are and what we've experienced. By recognizing this, we open ourselves to the possibility that there is more to understand, more to see, and more to experience than what is currently within our grasp. As we move through our lives, we must constantly question our assumptions and challenge our beliefs. Are we seeing a person or situation as it truly is, or are we seeing it through the distorted lens of our past experiences, fears, and desires? This requires a level of honesty with ourselves that can be uncomfortable. It means acknowledging that we have been wrong, that we have been limited, and that we have more to learn. The pursuit of knowledge is the pursuit of clarity. As we gain knowledge, we add more threads to the veil, but we also create the potential to weave a clearer picture of reality. We must be discerning in the knowledge we pursue, ensuring that it broadens our perspective rather than narrows it. True wisdom lies in the balance of knowing and not knowing, in understanding that with each layer of the veil we peel back, more layers await beneath. Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons. Here we find the importance of humility. The more we learn, the more we must realize how little we know. Each answer we find leads to a multitude of new questions, and each step forward reveals the length of the path ahead. We must have the humility to stand before the vastness of the unknown and be willing to embrace it, to let it teach us, and to let it guide us. Do you remember a time when you realized that something you had believed to be true was, in fact, false? This moment of realization is a moment where the veil thinned. It is an opportunity for growth and a signpost pointing towards a deeper understanding. It is these moments that we must seek out and cherish, for they are the key to lifting the veil that obscures our perception of reality. As we close this first lesson, I invite you to reflect on the nature of the veil in your own life. What threads compose it, and how might they be coloring your perception? With this awareness, we can begin to approach the world with a newfound openness to the truth. The labyrinth of insight, navigating the veil of perception. In the second lesson of our exploration, we delve into the discernment of perception, where we examine how the veil influences our daily lives and how we can begin to distinguish its threads with greater awareness. Let us turn our attention to the intricate interplay between the veil and our decision-making processes. Every choice we make is a reflection of our perception of reality. However, with the veil of ignorance in place, our choices are often based on incomplete or distorted information. This can lead to decisions that are not in alignment with our true selves or the universal truths that guide us. To discern the threads of the veil, we must cultivate a practice of mindful observation. This involves taking a step back from our immediate experiences and observing them as if from a distance. We become the watcher of our thoughts, the observer of our emotions, and the scrutineer of our actions. In doing so, we start to notice patterns, recurring themes in our life that may indicate where the veil is thickest. One of the most significant threads of the veil is our attachment to the ego. The ego is the part of us that seeks to assert its identity, to stand out and be recognized. It is driven by desires, fears, and the need for control. When we make decisions from a place of ego, we are often trying to reinforce our perceived identity rather than acting from a place of authenticity. By observing when our ego is at play, we can start to make choices that are less about reinforcing who we think we are and more about embracing who we truly are. This shift in perspective can be challenging, for it requires us to let go of the familiar constructs of our identity and to step into the unknown. Another thread is our emotional responses, which can cloud our judgment and skew our perception of reality. Emotions are powerful and can be incredibly persuasive, convincing us that the way we feel about a situation is an accurate reflection of the truth. However, emotions are often responses to the veil itself, reactions to the distortions that it creates. To discern the influence of emotions on our perception, we must practice equanimity. This means maintaining a state of calm and balance, regardless of the emotional turbulence we may encounter. It is not about suppressing or denying our emotions, but about acknowledging them without being swept away by their current. As we become more adept at distinguishing these threads, we also begin to notice how the veil affects our interactions with others. Our relationships are mirrors, reflecting back to us the parts of ourselves that are obscured by the veil. They show us where we are inflexible, where we hold prejudices, and where we are prone to misunderstanding. In our interactions, we must strive to see others not as we assume them to be, but as they truly are, complex beings with their own veils, traversing their own paths of discovery. This requires a deep level of empathy and the willingness to communicate openly and honestly. The most profound thread of the veil, however, is our belief systems. These are the structures of thought that we hold to be true, that shape our perception of reality. Belief systems can be religious, cultural, scientific, or personal, but they all serve the same function. They provide a framework for understanding the world. To discern the influence of our belief systems on our perception, we must be willing to question them. We must be open to the possibility that what we hold to be true may be only partially true or even false. This process of questioning is not an act of destruction, but one of refinement. It helps us to build belief systems that are more flexible, more inclusive, and more aligned with the deeper truths of reality. In this second lesson, the invitation is to become an active participant in the discernment of your perception. Observe the ego at play, maintain equanimity in the face of emotions, seek true understanding in your relationships, and question your belief systems with openness and curiosity. As we continue on this path of exploration, consider your own life. Where have your decisions been influenced by the veil? How might a clearer perception change the choices you make in the future? With this newfound understanding, we are ready to venture into the third lesson, where we will explore the transformation that occurs when we begin to lift the veil from our eyes. Transcending illusions, embracing a clearer vision. Here, we focus on the transformative power of seeing beyond the veil and the profound impact this can have on our lives. The act of transcending illusions is akin to the moment when the morning sun dispels the fog that has blanketed a landscape. What was once obscured becomes clear, and the beauty and detail of the environment are revealed. Similarly, when we begin to lift the veil of ignorance from our perception, the reality of our existence starts to come into sharper focus. This transformation is not an instantaneous revelation, but a gradual unveiling. As we peel back each layer of illusion, we gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the cosmos. This understanding brings with it a sense of connectedness and unity that transcends the superficial divisions created by the veil. One of the most significant changes we experience as we transcend illusions is the shift in our sense of identity. We move from identifying with the ego, with its narrow and self-centered perspective, to identifying with our higher self, which recognizes the interconnectedness of all things. This shift is profound and has far-reaching implications for how we live our lives. When we identify with the higher self, our actions become less about serving our own needs and more about contributing to the greater good. We become more compassionate, more empathetic, and more attuned to the needs of others. Our relationships deepen, our communities strengthen, and we begin to act as stewards of the planet rather than as exploiters of its resources. Another transformation that occurs as we transcend illusions is the release of fear. Much of our fear is rooted in the unknown, in the aspects of reality that are hidden by the veil. When we begin to see things more clearly, we understand that many of our fears are unfounded. They are phantoms created by ignorance, and as we dispel that ignorance, the phantoms disappear. This release of fear opens us up to new possibilities. We become more willing to take risks, to explore new ideas, and to embrace change. We no longer cling to the familiar and the comfortable, but seek out growth and evolution. This can lead us to make life-changing decisions, to pursue new paths, and to discover talents and passions we never knew we had. As we transcend illusions, we also begin to perceive the true nature of reality itself. We see that reality is not fixed and solid, but fluid and malleable. It is a dance of energy and consciousness, a play of light and shadow. We realize that we are not merely passive observers of this dance, but active participants. We have the power to shape our reality through our thoughts, our beliefs, and our intentions. This understanding brings with it a great responsibility. We must be mindful of the energy we put into the world, for it has the power to shape not only our reality but the reality of those around us. We must strive to be sources of positive energy, to uplift rather than to diminish, to create rather than to destroy. In this third lesson, the transformation we seek is both personal and collective. By transcending the illusions that cloud our perception, we not only liberate ourselves but also contribute to the liberation of all beings. We become beacons of light, illuminating the path for others as we walk our own. As we prepare to close this lesson and move toward the final part of our journey, take a moment to reflect on the transformations you have experienced in your own life. How has your vision cleared as you have worked to lift the veil? What fears have you released, and what possibilities have you embraced? With a clearer vision and a heart open to the boundless potential within us, we are now ready to explore the practical steps we can take to live in alignment with this greater reality. Unveiling Mastery. The art of living with transcendent clarity. In our final lesson, we step into the sanctuary of self-realization, where the veils have been lifted and the path ahead glistens with the potential of our purest intentions. This is the culmination of our journey, the point at which knowledge transitions into wisdom and insight transforms into action. We now address the art of living with transcendent clarity, where every moment becomes an opportunity to manifest our highest selves. To live with transcendent clarity is to embrace life as a conscious creator. It is to see each day as a canvas upon which our thoughts, words, and deeds paint the reality we experience. This mastery is not about controlling life's unpredictable nature. Rather, it is about aligning with the flow of existence in such a way that we navigate its waters with grace and intention. Embodying presence. The foundation of living with transcendent clarity is presence. To be present is to fully engage with the here and now, to be attuned to the richness of life as it unfolds. It is in presence that we find the power to act with purpose and the space to respond with thoughtfulness. We can cultivate presence through practices such as meditation, mindfulness, and deep listening to ourselves, to others, and to the world around us. Intentional decision-making. Transcendent clarity informs our choices. Each decision is made with an awareness of its ripples, both immediate and far-reaching. We learn to ask ourselves not just what we want, but what will serve the highest good. This doesn't mean we neglect our own needs and desires. Rather, we balance them with the well-being of the whole, understanding that true fulfillment comes from harmony between self and the greater community. Authentic relationships. Relationships become mirrors of our inner state once the veil is lifted. With transcendent clarity, we approach each interaction with authenticity and openness. We honor the sovereignty of each person we encounter, recognizing that each has their own path and their own veils to lift. By engaging with others from a place of genuine connection, we foster relationships built on trust, respect, and mutual growth. Aligned action. To live with transcendent clarity is to take aligned action. This means our actions are congruent with our values, beliefs, and true selves. We move through the world with a sense of purpose and a commitment to making a positive impact. Aligned action is the embodiment of our insights, the tangible expression of our inner transformations.